Hi, my name is Ekia Loveland. Welcome to my channel. I'm a writer, director, actress, and an all-around lover of words. And I want to add today that I want to use them wisely. The topic for today is unlearning survival love. I really do believe that we're in a generation where we are loving mostly out of trauma, scarcity, pain, and true love cannot grow in that kind of environment. I love love. I love love for other people and for myself. But I do feel like we've had to grow through almost like growing pains of being able to have the love that we do not only deserve, but that we desire. And being able to even admit it to oneself, that's the kind of love that we desire. And then having to reverse engineer and see, how do I get there? And what can I do? And sometimes we look to the other person. So as women, we look to men and be like, okay, if they did this and they did that, everything would be all right. Not always looking at the things that we have control over, which is ourselves, and being able to be very self-aware. We cannot always bypass all our triggers, but knowing them is the first step to healing. Like, knowing them is the first step for them not to sabotage any relationship. And it doesn't always have to be romantic, but today I want to talk about love, okay? When I think of survival love, it is the first thing that comes to mind really is the fear of abandonment, the fear of rejection, and settling for things that we know we don't want, we know are not necessarily healthy, but we're so afraid of being alone that we stick with what we know. The devil, you know, right? And that should never be like, if you know the devil, then kick him out. Like, I don't even know who came up with that, but no, it is not. Devil, you know, if you know him, kick him the heck out. There is better out there. And that's also a thing, that we feel like there is scarcity, that the thing that we want, there's not enough of it. And that's what I meant with when we think of what the other person can do. I think when we become the person that we need to be, we, I don't want to say automatically attract, but birds of the same feather. And I like this one way better than the other one, is that we kind of like, we're drawn to, and people draw to us that have those qualities. And we also will attract people that prey on those qualities, but that's where discernment comes in. That's a whole different aspect of it, but that's also important, because it's one thing to display all the good qualities, but if you're not able to discern who is who, that can become a problem. So the fear of abandonment and the fear of rejection, and settling for things just because we feel like this is all we got, and having this place of wanting to be chosen and need to be chosen. Somebody needs to see me and want me and desire me. And that's not a problem. What the problem is when that is now our place of value. So it's almost like I'm only as valuable as the person that chooses me and that puts value on me. And that's where the whole house of cards crumbles, because we cannot place our value in the hands of somebody else. It's in our hands, and what we believe about ourselves, and what we've grown to be, and what we've been able to wiggle ourselves and heal from the trauma that we've gone through. I think it's very fair to say that everybody has trauma. I think it's sometimes we have like a stigma on it, and it doesn't have to be a sob story, and it doesn't have to be this huge thing that happened to you. Perceptions, dynamics, things you've seen, people you've been around. Sometimes it's just a word. It's just, oh my God, look at your hair. And all of a sudden now we're self-conscious about something. We all walk through different things from filters or triggers. And if the word trauma is too big, then use a filter. A filter is something that you can still see reality, but it's distorted a little bit. It's just a little bit of a filter on it. It's when it's supposed to be clear, it's a little bit blue. Or when it's supposed to be clear, it's a little bit red. You can still see me, but the color is a little different. And so the cute makeup I did, you don't even see it the way I did it, just because of the filter. So it's not that you don't see reality. It's just tainted with something that was either spoken over you, to you, that you've heard, that you've internalized, that you've seen even in movies and TV shows, and that you feel like, oh my God, is that what life is supposed to be? Is that what love is supposed to look like? And now we're defining what we want to experience out of something that may not even be real. And so the survival love of abandonment and rejection can start in all kinds of places: childhood, past relationships. The fear of being alone and lonely should never be bigger than the fear of being with a person that does not see you, does not hear you, does not see your value, and is not able to even align with you and walk alongside you for you to be able to do what you're supposed to do. We're not just here to just take up space. We're here to be able to accomplish the things that are inside of us. And you need your partner to be a person that can not only cheer you on and see you and value you, but actually help you to become this better person and to become a better you. Survival love is also earning love, trying to earn love through performance or control or perfection, shape shifting into the woman or the man that we think the other person wants or needs. And so we try to put ourselves into a mold and just hope and pray that they won't realize that that's not who we truly are, just because we want to stick with somebody that we feel gives us value, or we feel like we love them, we can't live without them. That all these things are lies, because there's a place in us that is broken and we're trying to fill that space with this person's presence or with what feels like love. Survival love can also look like mistaking chaos for passion. You're repeating trauma patterns because those are the ones that you feel comfortable with. Those are the ones that you know. And when you don't see them in that current relationship, you do everything to create that dysfunction again, because the dysfunction makes you feel like, okay, I know this. This is what love felt like the last time. So if it's not like that, I'm going to create a situation where it becomes like that. You're self-sabotaging something that could be amazing because you don't see what it could look like if it was healthy. If the aim and the objective is healthy love, then we have to be healthy ourselves first. There's no way we can be in a healthy relationship when both parties are carrying the sickness of love with them, the survival instincts of love, and the damaged parts of it. And then you want to create something that's healthy. How is that going to work if both parties don't even know what that looks like, or what that looks like just for themselves? If you can't love yourself in a healthy way, how are you going to love somebody else in a healthy way? If you haven't unlearned what didn't work the last time, you're going to have a different name, you're going to have a different face, but it's going to end up being the exact same situation. If you've been hurt, if every time you've been loved there was hurt attached to it, you expect it. You expect the pain to come back, and until you see it, then this mustn't be love. Then until you see that those patterns of being spoken to or downgraded or spoken down to in a certain way, you don't even recognize that as being love, because the last time that's what it looked like. I really believe that unless we address the issues, we will repeat the cycle over and over and over again, and not understand what we're doing wrong, when we're just trying to be we're trying to be in a healthy relationship. But again, if we're not healthy ourselves and we cannot recognize those filters and pick them apart, and for them to be able to dissipate so that we can see clearly again, then it's going to be really, really hard to build those relationships that we actually desire and we know that we deserve. We've all gone through heartbreak. We know what it feels like. And there's something that I've seen a lot of people do, which is go from one extreme to the other. If your nature was to be, very lovey-dovey and very open and very vulnerable, you would give your love away freely because you've been broken or heartbroken by somebody. All of a sudden, it's like, yeah, I will never do that again. Like, they will never see me. I'm going to be out here in these streets. I'm going to be, I'm going to be tough. I'm not going to tell nothing. I'm going to play those games. And it's like, but what are you going to gain from that? Letting a negative experience change the nature of who you are is letting that experience win. You're telling them that they had the power to change who you are at the essence of yourself. That should never be the case. Yes, wisdom is applying the knowledge that you learned, but most of the time the problem wasn't how much you loved them. It was that you were maybe not able to recognize, that you didn't see the red flags or the orangey pink flags, and you thought they were just cute. Maybe it is that you let yourself get sucked into the loudness of physical intimacy way too quick. And so now your judgment is clouded by being in the sheets too early. And so you can't see, and you're not talking because you're in the sheets all the time. So those were the things that you have to address, but you want to go at your core and think that something's wrong with you. It's not who you are that is the problem. It's how you went about that relationship, or how you maybe did not take your time, or have those conversations and listen to what they're saying and see them, and let there be some time until not only what they say but what they do can match it. Because most of the times when we start a relationship, we talk a lot, right? Talking stage, that's the whole business of it. And we talk a lot, and then we use what they say to be the proof of who we think they are, but we never got time enough to see whether what they said matched what they do. We don't even have that alignment. And then we go from what they said, we use that as our proof and equity, and then we bypass everything else. And then all of a sudden we find out that what they do does not match what they said. Give it some time. It's not the fact that you love too hard, it's the fact that maybe slow it down. Slow the process of it down. Listen to them. Don't take everything, like as the word of the queen. When they say something, okay, it's noted, and then give some time for them to be able to show you the behavior that comes with it. Patience is a true virtue, and for everything that is good, that is really good, you'll have to put in a little bit of waiting game. All I'm saying is do not change the nature of who you are, because who you are is who you are. If you're a lovey-dovey person and you love openly and you love big, then let that be who you are. Don't let one person or two people or whatever experiences you've gone through be able to change the essence of who you are. Most of the time, it's not who you are that's the problem. It's how you applied or how you walked into that relationship. So change the strategy. There's this thing where we build walls and then we call them boundaries, moving from one extreme to the other and not being able to find balance in that. And also just being able to identify it. So how do we move out of that? Like, how do we move from this place of survival love into a place of healthy love? I think like the very first thing is self-awareness. We can all pinpoint the thing that they did to us. Can we pinpoint the thing that we did not do correctly? And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Sometimes it really is just lack of discernment. The thing, loving out of scarcity is a desperate type of love where we feel like, okay, for instance, you've been in an abusive relationship, and I'm taking a big example, but you've been in an abusive relationship, and now you meet somebody who is nice and who is kind. Just because they are nice and kind and they display behavior that you never saw in the other person does not mean you got to run and quick and grab them and now make them your partner. It is absolutely beautiful to be able to still see hope and see, oh my God, there are men who are kind and who speak to me with respect and who do all these things, but that doesn't mean that person is your person. It is sometimes you want to so quickly grab onto the next that we see the first thing that is different and is a little bit better. And is, we go from gutter standard to like basic bare minimum. And then you want to grab onto that and call it paradise. It's not. It's not. It takes time for you to heal. And then it takes time for you to redefine what love means to you and what you want it to be for you. The things that you want to see, the things that you want to experience, how you want to be spoken to, the type of communication that you want to have, the type of language that you don't want to tolerate. All these things, you got to redefine them. It is very important to take accountability for oneself and for one's own actions or lack thereof. Again, it's easy to say that that person did that person did that. But how much can you sit with yourself and be able to look in the mirror and say, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done it this way. Maybe I shouldn't have done this way. Maybe I was still carrying some, hurt and pain from this other situation that I hadn't dealt with. Take accountability, learn, and don't harden. Wisdom is applying the knowledge that the pain taught you without it letting it change your nature. Let me repeat that. Wisdom is applying the knowledge that the pain taught you without letting it change your nature. You are who you are. And there are essence of you who will always be that. Yes, you can grow and learn and become a better version of that. But there's an essence of who you truly are. And you shouldn't let anything or anybody change that. If you fail a math test, you're not going to say, I will never do math again. You will study differently. You will study better. You maybe get a study partner and you'll study together. And you can be presented with the exact same test, but this time you pass it because you studied differently, because you know the angles better. Now when you see something, you see an equation, you go, okay, this is how I have to solve it. That's the exact same thing. Just because love was painful the last time doesn't mean that it has to always be that. By letting the pain change your nature and you starting to mirror the very wickedness and evil that was done to you, now you're just like them. And then what's the point? After experiencing painful love or a heartbreak, the goal is not to close your heart or to protect it to the point where no one can touch it. The goal is to heal until it's safe enough for you to open it again. Talk to you soon.